YouTube, going live on Rumble. Good morning, hello, and welcome to, pardon me, This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened to date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for an interesting and important happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. I don't know what's going on with my lungs today. Anyway, the sources of our information come from the website onthisday.com and the smart device application's historical calendar and today in history. For links to these sources and anything else potentially interesting, please check the underbar in the description below. And as usual, all links gathered throughout this all links gathered throughout the show will appear post live stream. Anyway, I am Ozzy, and you, viewer, are you. Thank you very much for coming and joining, whether you're watching live or at some point in the space-time continuum. It doesn't matter. I appreciate your patronage. Anyway, today is Saturn's Day, aka Saturday, January 20th, 2024. So, let's jump into the history today, shall we? Starting us off, let's see, let's scroll all the way back up to the top here. Let me expand this. Whoops, hold on a second. Year 250, St. Fabian ended his reign as Catholic Pope, which he reigned from 236 to 250. And then 649, we have an off-main source here. King Shinda Estunith, at the urging of Bishop Braulio of Zaragoza, crowned his son Rhyswinth as co-ruler of the Visigoth kingdom. Rhys, you got chocolate in my peanut butter. You got peanut butter in my chocolate. Blah. So anyway, moving on up to 1156, according to legend, freeholder Lally slayed English crusader Bishop Henry with an axe on the ice of Lake Koilonjärvi in Finland. Okay, well that's a little brutal right there. 1265 here, we have the first English Parliament summoned other than by royal command, in this instance by Simon de Montfort, Earl of Leicester, met with Westminster Palace Hall, today the Houses of Parliament, meaning to include not only lords but also representatives of the major towns. Alright, so bringing in some representation for the people. How about that for a concept, alright? Let's see here. What else do we got? 1320, Duke Władysław Lociak became King of Poland. Okay, that's whatever. 1356, Edward Balliol abdicated as King of Scots, surrendering his claim to the Scottish throne to Edward III in exchange for an English pension. Yeah. And as the meme has been going around, about all the whole toothless dancing and everything, Scotland forever! And I wish I could just play bagpipes by screaming, but I can't. Yes, it did. It did. Thank you very much. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1502, the present-day location of Rio de Janeiro was first explored. All right. 1503, Casa de Contratación, the House of Trade, established by the Crown of Castile in the port of Seville to deal with American affairs. All right. 1513, Christian II succeeded Johann I as Danish and Norwegian king. Okay. And 1523, so 1 decade later, Christian II was forced to abdicate as king of Denmark and Norway. So he had a 10-year stint. Exactly, day to day. In 1576 here, actually 1567, this is off script, or no, this is off source. We have the Battle of Rio de Janeiro. Portuguese forces under the command of Estácio de Sá definitively drove the French out of Rio de Janeiro. Huh, look at that. Weren't we talking about Rio de Janeiro earlier? Yeah, we were. So, yeah, must have been the French. Those Chiquois. Then 1576 here, the Mexican city of Leon was founded by order of Viceroy Don Martin Enriquez de Almanza. Or Almanza, something like that. Alright, so if anybody lives in Leon, happy birthday to your city. 1613, the Peace of Knarrod ended the War of Kalmar between Denmark and Sweden. Alright. 1648, the cornerstone of Amsterdam Town Hall was laid. Alright, that's a really old town hall right there. And I believe this has to be 1649, not 1949. So, the High Court of Justice fought the Teal of Charles I, or for the Teal of trial, I guess. For the trial? Yeah, the High Court of Justice for the trial of Charles I began its proceedings here in 1649, which is not in main source. And we were talking about Charles I, the whole English Civil War and all that whatnot. just yesterday, I believe. Moving on up to 1667, the Treaty of Andrusovo ended a 13-year war between Poland and Russia. Poland and Russia are always at each other's throats. Same with Ukraine, same with Russia and Finland. Russia really has got to back off. I mean, if you look at the history of Russia, aka the history of Moscow, all of Russia is just, you know, to make more land between Moscow and its enemies. That's all Russia is, really. Like, it's all about, you know, making more land between their capital, Moscow, and its enemies. Like, it started off as Moscow, as if everything else did. It starts off as one little city-state, you know? Let's see, we got here 1778. The first American military court-martial trial began in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Wow, almost immediately there. That's pretty intriguing. Looking to see if we have any comments yet. We do not. 1781, we have the first edition of Peter It Hohn's Post of Niederrhein was published. 1781, is that in here? It isn't. It is, yeah. First edition of Peter It Hohn's Post. Okay, so whatever that is. 1783, the Kingdom of Great Britain signed preliminary articles of peace with the Kingdom of France, setting the stage for the official end of hostilities in the American Revolutionary War later that year. So, when did the revolution end, actually? Like, I know it started in 1775, and, you know, or 1776 is when we declared independence, you know, but, when did the revolution end? Let's see here. 1783, yeah, so right here. And we are in January, so this is the very beginning. So right here, later that year. So the actual official holidays, not holidays, the end of hostilities. That's the H word I was thinking about. 1785, Samuel Ellis advertised to sell Oyster Island, now known as Ellis Island, and no takers. Now, why was Ellis Island called Oyster Island? Maybe because it had a bunch of oysters? So, why was Ellis Island called Oyster Island? Let's see here. Pardon me. Oyster Island. Ellis Island, part of Statue of Liberty National Monument. Oyster Island. During the restoration of the immigration station on Ellis Island in the 1980s, archaeologists revealed the island's buried past. The first people to utilize the island were Native Americans, members of the Algonquin-speaking tribes that lived in the northeast region of North America. They visited Ellis Island because it contained large oyster beds, which were an important source of food. As a result, the Dutch referred to the island as one of 3 oyster islands in New York Harbor. So there you go. So if you want to read some more about Oyster Island, let's see here. Oyster Island. This link will be in the other part of the description below after the live stream, as I said at the top of the show. So you can go down that rabbit hole if you so wish to follow that pathway, or you can find your own. Anyway, 1785 as well, invading Siamese forces attempted to exploit the political chaos in Vietnam, but were ambushed and annihilated at the Mekong River by the Tay Son in the Battle of Ranch Gam Doi Mut. Huh. So they've been doing guerrilla stuff for a long time. 1785, wow. 3 years later, 1788, Pioneer African Baptist Church organized in Savannah, Georgia. Okay. And while that was going on, the third and main part of the First Fleet arrived at Botany Bay, beginning the British colonization of Australia. Author Philip decided that Port Jackson is a more suitable location for a colony. And look at this. So actually, that's not even on here. So this is another off of main article. 1801, John Marshall was appointed U.S. Chief Justice. Okay, yeah, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. So probably not the first, but very close. 1807 here, we have Napoleon convened Great Sanhedrin, Paris. So right here, Napoleon convenes the Great Sanhedrin, a Jewish high court in Paris, gave local sanction to the principles expressed by the Assembly of Notables. Huh, that's interesting. And that kind of coincides with something that Cheese was talking with me about the other day, about how certain controlling people were trying to kill Napoleon and couldn't, so ended up just exiling him. Anyway, 1809, the first U.S. geology book published by William McClure. Geology. First U.S. geology book. Interesting. I wonder what Dr. Sheldon Cooper has to say about geology. Isn't it like like the night walker of sciences or something, as he said? Anyway, 1839, the Battle of Yungay, Chile defeated the Peruvian and Bolivian alliance. Huh. 1 year later, we have Dumont d'Urville discovered Adelaide Land in Antarctica. Huh. Okay. And while that was going on, Dutch King William II was crowned. Okay, cool. Who cares about, kings? There's so many kings and everything. 1841 here, China ceded Hong Kong to the British during the First Opium War. Yep. Yeah, so that happened. 1850, HMS Investigator, headed by Robert McClure, left England, the first expedition to make a northwest passage, though some over the ice. So they did have to, get over the ice and such. I think they actually, dragged their boats up and over some ice that they couldn't break or whatnot. So do we have any comments going on here? Nope, not yet. Alright, what else do we got here? 1860, Dutch troops conquered Wattampone in Celebes. I don't know what that is. I guess that's, I guess that's, some kind of, Native American or some kind of conflict or something. The Wattampone, it sounds like a Native American tribe. 1866, Prim's insurrection in Spain ended. Okay, what is Prim's insurrection in Spain? Let's take a look at that here really quick. Go away, trees. I don't care. Let's see here. Juan Prim, Spanish noble, first Count of Rus, first Marquis of Los Castillos, first Viscount of Bruges, was a Spanish general and statesman who was briefly Prime Minister of Spain until his assassination. Yikes. So if anybody wants to read more about Juan Prim, I'm going to add that in here. Juan Prim. So, yeah, you can figure out exactly what his insurrection was. So, yeah. 1868, Florida Constitutional Convention met in Tallahassee. Oh, I know a couple Florida people. That's pretty cool. 1869, Elizabeth Cady Stanton became the first woman to testify before U.S. Congress. Cool, cool, cool. That's really cool. She looks kind of like a native. She's a U.S. social abolitionist leading figure of the early women's rights movement in the U.S. in mid to late 1800s. How you doing, Noah? Welcome to the show.
We're still doing ThEoD later, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Definitely.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. Anyway, 1870 here, the SS City of Boston vanished at sea with all 177 on board. That's a weird name.
I heard how you said Boston just then.
Boston.
Oh my god.
You all want to go to Boston, get a cup of coffee, and start a fight.
Don't you mean mug of beer or whatever?
That's after. You drink coffee in the morning.
That's after the coffee.
If you're drinking beer at 7 in the morning, you have a serious problem, unless you work nights, Dude, that reminds me, back in the day when I used to work at Kohl's, my friend and I, because we work mornings, and so, we woke up at, 3 some odd in the morning. We started work at, 4:30 or something, unloading trucks and everything. So by, 10:30 in the morning, our shift is done. We're off work. And I remember one day we went over to some Mexican restaurant. We're sitting there eating lunch and drinking beer at 10 in the morning. People are looking at us. And we're
why are
just
you doing
there,
that?
We've already put in a full 8 hours, this
All
is
throughout the
our
night.
afternoon.
Yeah.
It may be 10 in the morning for you, but it might as well be 4 in the evening for us, So.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, 1870 here as well. The Hiram R. Revels elected to fill unexpired term of Jefferson Davis as U.S. Senator of Mississippi. Yeah, so Jefferson Davis, this is long after the Civil War, because the Civil War ended in 66 or in 1866 or something like that.
I don't remember the exact date.
Yeah, 1861, I believe, to 1866, somewhere in there. And Jefferson Davis was, a U.S. senator, but he left. So this guy, very I find this personally hilarious. They put a black guy in his seat, just maybe as salt in the wounds,
Okay.
Because he was leading a nation that was all about enslaving black people, So it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing there, I guess. I don't know. Anyway,
Okay.
Mr. Noah, do you want to take a couple?
Sure, but not too many. And
That's fine.
here, I'll do three of them right now.
Okay.
In 1872, the California Stock Exchange Board was organized.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Like that's, I thought that originated in New York. Am I
Well,
wrong?
that's
Am I wrong?
the stock exchange. You know, like the
Right.
U.S. stock. That's
Oh,
the stock
they
exchange
said
of
it's
the
a
whole
California
country.
board.
But if you're gonna do stocks in different cities and different states, there's gonna be like smaller, like stock exchanges and such. I don't know how it all works. That's a Bradley question. He does stocks and whatnot.
Well, they did say California and board
Now,
in
I have one here
1879.
off main source. 1874, the Treaty of Pangor was signed between the British and Sultan Abdullah of Perak, paving the way for further British colonization of Malaya. So, we all know that
Okay.
British was taking over the Indian subcontinent and all that whatnot. And yeah.
I kind of want to read 1887, not 1883 here after I get the chance.
We'll get that. I have here
Okay.
another, actually 1879. If you want to take this one, actually.
In 1879, British troops under Lord Chelmsford make camp at Isandawana. I think this is in Japan. I don't know where that is. Wait, no. It's
India.
somewhere in British troops. It says British troops, so.
Yeah, well, let's take a look
really
at that. That's Rwanda. Battle of Anglo-Zulu War. Oh, wow, so this is in Africa somewhere.
Okay.
So, So British troops under Lord make camp. So this is, when was the Anglo-Zulu War? 1879, and this is,
oh my god.
1879. Yeah, so this is like either right before or during it. Like,
Okay.
22nd of January. Actually, no, this is literally right before. The Battle of Isandlwana is 22nd of January. It's the 20th right now, so this is 2 days before that battle pops off during the Anglo-Zulu War. Wow. So, I'll take this 1883 here because I know you want to take 1887. So we have
yeah,
Billy
I did.
Barnes took a hat trick. England versus Australia at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. That's cricket, and that's the origins of the hat trick. But yeah, tell us about 1887 here. This is pretty interesting.
It looks like in 1887, the U.S. Senate approved naval base lease of Pearl Harbor. So this is this is way before Pearl Harbor actually happened, but that's the event, not the location. So they approved the naval base lease for Pearl Harbor in 1887. This was not at the same time as the World War. Before that, yeah.
We're moving on up into the 1900s here. In 1905, the United States began supervising the Dominican Republic's national and international debts, testing President Theodore Roosevelt's corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. And do you know much about the Monroe Doctrine?
I don't remember, but I learned all these things in middle school and in high school. I just can't recall them anymore. It's been too dang long.
Yeah, the Monroe Doctrine is a U.S. foreign policy position that opposes European colonialism in the Western Hemisphere. It holds that any intervention in the political affairs of the Americas by foreign powers is a potentially hostile act against the United States. So basically, it's a
like saying you can't
saying,
settle on our. We already own it.
Well, it's not about owning, but it's about control. So it's essentially a doctrine stating that the United States controls the Western Hemisphere of Earth. So that's a pretty big.
Does that include South America?
Yes, the Western Hemisphere.
I thought so. Got it.
So for further reading on this, here's a Wikipedia article. Is going to be in the underbar of the description below.
I can see that. Okay.
Moving on up to 1909, newly formed automaker General Motors, aka Government Motors, aka GM, bought into the Oakland Motor Car Company, which later became GM's long-running Pontiac division. All right, and that was 1909, and that's not even on this main source. So that's interesting right there. Some stuff about Government Motors. 1910, we have okay, that's a whatever. I just put that in for Alice last year, but that's a whatever article. 1914, the first group of Transvaal Indian women, Satyagrahis, are released from Pietermaritzburg prison in South Africa after 3 months of imprisonment. Transvaal Indian women. Transvaal? I don't know what Transvaal is. But let me just look at Transvaal.
Sounds like you're trying to say Transylvania almost.
Yeah,
Sounds
I know.
like it, yeah.
Okay, Kadadambimbi Gangli apparently was a medical doctor, but I don't know. Well, now this is talking about this other trans something word. Anyway, If you want to take any more, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna just keep going here.
You can go for a
1920.
bit.
Okay, sorry, what?
I said you can go ahead for on your own
Okay.
for a bit. I'll still chime in.
All right, 1920. The Dutch Second Chamber passed school laws. I wonder what kind of laws those were. Let's take a quick service level scratch on that potential rabbit hole. Okay, this is just the House of Representatives, Netherlands. Okay, Ghost, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey there.
How's your day so far?
Excellent. Sorry, did I crash the thing? Did I crash the party?
No. People have got to stop worrying about crashing, about derailing. Like you can't affect me. You're not powerful enough. You know, you pop in the show, you join. You know, we bring you in. You know, like it doesn't matter, just you. Oh wait, hold on a second. I have some comments here on YouTube. Hey, Triple T first. Inya Myers is here as I'm cleaning but the kitchen and putting some laundry in. Just listening, but we'll be back. All right. So yeah, we have Triple T and Inya in the house. Welcome. Anyway, moving on up, 1920 as well, the American Civil Liberties Union was founded. That sounds kind of like an eyebrow raiser with what's going on. Civil liberties. Like, what does that sound to you guys? That sounds like a red flag to me.
Yeah.
So
read it more.
The American Civil Liberties Union is a U.S. nonprofit human rights organization founded in 1920, as I just read here. The organization serves, quote, to defend and preserve the individual rights and liberties guaranteed to every person in this country by the Constitution and laws of the United States, end quote. That's a
Yeah, but they
word
don't do that anymore. They're doing the opposite now.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like when you look at all these, you know, like when you look at history, not just in the U.S., but world history, if you look at every horrible thing, they all have titles that are in direct opposition to what they truly are. Because they're trying to portray themselves as what they're not in order to blindside people, and by the time, you know, people really, you know, like figure it out, it's already too late. They're established, they're ingrained. And now you gotta work on trying to get them out. All the while now, you know, that now that they're in, now they get to push their crap. So, like, you know, when you see anything about, like, you know, oh, the People's Republic, civil liberties, you know, those are all buzzwords to make people feel better about, you know, those organizations. You got to be careful about what they actually do stand for. You know, don't take a book by its cover, essentially.
All I know is... No, go ahead.
1921, British submarine HMS K5, which was unusually equipped with steam turbines. A steam turbine submarine, that's interesting. Sunk with 57 crew during exercises in the Bay of Biscay. Well, I mean, if you're steam powered, you gotta have the steam going out unless you have a recirculation closed circuit system, which I'm not sure they probably did. I'm not entirely sure, but it didn't work out. Because it said, you know, unusually equipped with steam turbines, so that's abnormal right there. 1921 as well, Dagestan ASSR formed in RSFSR, which is like the Russian Socialist Federation of Soviet Republics, I guess. Like, let's see here. Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic. Holy crap! I guessed very well. Basically, the Soviet Union. So, yeah. And in 1921 as well, Mountain Autonomous Republic established in RFSFR, so I'm not sure if this is the same thing. So, yeah. Anyway, 1921, I'd like other people to read if that's cool. Noah, would you mind taking something, or I don't want to push anything?
Go ahead. I'll take it.
Okay.
So in 1921, the Republic of Turkey declared
out.
out.
Louder, like my audience needs to hear you, please.
Okay. Well, in 1921, the Republic of Turkey declared out of remnants of the Ottoman Empire, so they are no longer a part of Ottoman Empire. This is in, I think they call it what's the part of it's like something Asia where Turkey is now? I can't remember it.
Well, what happened was, what we know as Turkey today. Before that, they were the hub of the Ottoman Empire.
Asia Minor.
Yes, Asia Minor.
It used to be called Asia Minor, where Turkey is now.
Yes, but they were the Ottoman Empire, and before that, they were the Holy Roman Empire, and before that, at some point, they were part of the Ottomans.
Yes.
Not the Ottomans. They were part of.
Yeah, you already said
not
that.
The Ottomans. Well, they were part of the Ottomans later on, but I'm trying to the Persian Empire. Way back in the day.
That's it.
That was Persia.
That's back in like the time of like the Spartans in Greece.
Yes.
That's way back when people were still.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I have some more information regarding this from other sources that I have rolled into this. So to repeat what you said, 1921, the Republic of Turkey was declared out of the remnants of the Ottoman Empire. So
No longer
with
a
the
part of it.
adoption of its first constitution, fundamental changes were made in the source and exercise of sovereignty by consecrating the principle of national sovereignty. So they're no longer an empire, and this is after the First World War. It ended in 1918, 1919. I think it was 1918. So, but yeah, like the Ottoman Empire dissolved, and then all that was left really was Turkey, as we know today. Let's see here. We got 1922. This is whatever. So like, let me get rid of that one really quick. 1925. Would you mind reading this one, please?
1925. Okay. The Soviet and Japan signed a convention in 1925, resuming relations. Russia agrees to limit revolutionary activity, to limit revolutionary activity of the Third Communist International, while Japan agrees to leave the Sakhalin, which is what?
Some land, and let me look that up here. Where is this?
I'm pretty sure that's a thing that isn't. It's like a belief. Okay.
So,
You're right. Okay, so they owned that area and they released
they
it.
left it as.
Yeah, I mean.
They left it as part of the agreement. Russia stops the revolutionary activity, and then Japan will like back off, and they'll both be like, okay, let's give each other some space to breathe. Like that's essentially what this was. Let's see here. This 1926 is whatever. 1929. This is pretty interesting here. You want to take it?
Go ahead. Let me see what it says.
1929. The first feature talking motion picture taken outdoors in Old Arizona was the name of the.
What is Old Arizona supposed to be?
In Old Arizona. No, that's the name of the movie. And this is the first.
Oh, okay.
This is
You're
the
right.
first feature talking motion picture taken outdoors. So, like.
So not the first, but the first one done outdoors.
Yeah, well,
that was
is the
taken
first
outdoors.
One when they recorded it outdoors and they're recording the audio.
Yeah.
And then, which if anybody's like, in the film industry.
Wow, it's hard to believe how far film and movies and cinema have come along in the last almost 100 years.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was 1929. That was the Roaring 20s.
Yeah. Well, near the end, actually, Prohibition had been ratified a couple days prior. Actually, I think Prohibition was ratified on the 1st. I'm not sure, because I know it started in 29. But speaking of entertainment and everything, 1 year later, 1930, we have the first radio broadcast of the Lone Ranger, Hi Ho Silver.
Isn't that? I heard that was illegal to say for some reason.
So sorry, what did you say?
Oh no, my mom. One time she told me that it was illegal to say that in America. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? It's free speech. She said it's illegal to say that in America. I was like, are you kidding me?
Hi Ho Silver? Are you what?
That's what she told me. I was like an 11-year-old. It was weird. I think she was trying to. I don't know. I was like an 11-year-old or a 13-year-old. I can't remember. But it was a strange thing for her to tell me when I was a young kid. I don't know. She also told me that a backhanded compliment, and she believes this, is called a left-handed compliment, and I'm like, what? So I don't know why she said those things to me, even though I know she believes that last thing for real, but it's not true.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I've never heard of that. Like,
I was also 6. I was 6 when she told me that a backhanded compliment is called a left-handed compliment, actually. My brother said, no, that's not true. And I was like, yeah, he's right.
I have a comment here on YouTube chat from Inya. On this day in 2024, Inya was the last American to put away her Christmas decorations. No, you're not. Our tree is disassembled, but yet to be put back in the box. So, I think I'm defeating you in that.
I don't know.
We still have that one last little thing to do.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see who's the real lazy person out here. Moving on up, 1936, it just says here on our source, Edward VIII succeeded British King George V. But from other sources here, King George V of the United Kingdom died. His eldest son succeeded to the throne, becoming Edward VIII. The title Prince of Wales was not used for another 22 years. Whoa, so there was no Prince of Wales for the next 22 years.
Wow.
That's pretty interesting.
Okay.
Moving on up to 1937, we got something in California, negative 45 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 43 degrees Celsius. In Boca, California is the state record.
Other community.
India, mine is still standing in the living room too. Well, ours isn't standing; it's down in chunks, but we just have to put it in the box. So, but we still have it out, is the point. But where is Boca, California? Because negative, that is cold as hell. Give me some maps here. I always said Brea. Brea is close. Where's Boca? Hold on a second. Let me just give me some images here. Boca, California map. Let's see here. Okay, it's all the way up there, so that makes sense. But still, like, can you imagine being in California and the negatives? Like, that is mind-boggling.
That wouldn't be very, it'd be very cold.
Is that Lake Tahoe? Y'all got ski resort up there.
Let's see here. Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe.
I think it's very cold there in the winter. I mean, it snows.
Okay.
Like Arrowhead snows for sure.
Yeah, it looks like it. Good pull there. Because I'm looking at this
Another
map.
ski resort.
Yeah, because it's the stars up here, and I know Lake Tahoe is in this little bend right there.
Yep.
So I think it's up on the north part of Lake Tahoe. Good pull. So.
Hate to say it, that's where Squaw Valley was. Lake
what?
Tahoe. That's where Squaw Valley, renamed.
Squaw?
Recently ski resorts there.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. You and your ski resorts. I got to have you talk to Jace. Jace used to work at a ski resort, off and on and whatnot.
I'm in
He
one.
snowboarded a lot. You and him would get together like peaches and cream. So.
This is true. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would know some stuff.
Yeah. Let's see here. We have a 1937. Miss Ghost, do you want to take a couple articles by chance? I don't want to push you on anything. I just want other people to get, mic time if they would like. I don't have to talk the entire time. So.
Oh, thank you. I'm good. I'm eating lunch.
All right. Well, let's see here. I have 1937 here. It says the first U.S. presidential inauguration day was held on January 20th. Previously, it was March 4th. And then I have some further information here. Franklin Delano Roosevelt and John Nance Gardner were sworn in for their second terms as U.S. President and U.S. Vice President. This was the first time a presidential inauguration took place on January 20th since the 20th Amendment changed the date of presidential terms, the previous date being March 4th. So as I said before, and that was rolled into when they changed the terms and all that. Actually, I think that was before, because we will be talking about FDR's fourth term here in a little bit. And actually, this is an inauguration day. We're going to be getting a lot of inaugurations later on.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. That's just a play or whatever. 1941, a German officer was killed in Bucharest, Romania, sparking a rebellion and pogrom by the Iron Guard. Let's not forget, a pogrom is a violent act specifically against Jewish people. So here we go. Here's our Jewish article of the day. This caused the deaths of 125 Jews and 30 soldiers. So as I said, and this was during World War II. This was during Nazi occupation. So, they used whatever excuse that they did to take action against people that they hated. Very much like how certain political groups in, the first world nations, the United States and most of Europe, they're doing to certain other people, just out of blind ignorance and hate. But, same thing. Anyway, 1941 as well, Bela Bartok's six-string quartet. Okay, who cares about that? I don't know why that's even in here. 1941, Chinese communist leaders reorganized the new Fourth Army in defiance of nationalist leader Chiang Kai-shek's order for it to be disbanded. So we were talking about this yesterday. He wanted to disband it and everything, and this is during, the Red Wave, Mao Zedong's, all that stuff. Because that started in 1926, and then it wasn't until 1948, 1947, somewhere in there, where all the people had, fled to Taiwan. No. 1942, the Japanese invaded Burma, World War II, all that stuff. And we also have Nazi officials held the notorious Wannsee Conference in Berlin to organize the quote-unquote final solution, the extermination of Europe's Jews. Yikes.
What year was this again? 1942, right? Oh yeah, it does say 1942.
Well, like right here, you have a picture, and I can't really read German, but this is showing, I believe, all the various countries and whatnot. Hey, what's up, Nurgle? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I just thought I'd come in and listen to the show.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for joining. But yeah, this picture right here, it shows the various countries, I believe, and like the various like numbers of how many residents are Jews or related to Jews. I'm not entirely sure. As I said, I don't read German, but that looks like it says Ukraine. That's Ukraine right there. 2,994,684, I guess. Like.
I guess that's money. I don't know.
No, these are like populations. So like,
that was the population of Ukraine.
Figuring out how many Jews live in each country, so that way they know, quote unquote, the final solution. Awful, disgusting, diabolical, despicable, horrible things. But it's history. You gotta look at the bad with the good, so that way you know what not to do again. Like, history is a mucky muck. So. Anyway, moving on up to 1943, Operation West, we got that. German, Italian, Bulgarian, and Croatian troops attempt to retake land liberated by Tito's partisans. Tito. That name is familiar. Can't remember who that was.
I remember that name, I think.
Joseph Broz Tito, yes, right here.
That's it.
Yeah, right. Oh, so right here.
Operation Weiss. Isn't that just...
And he was a president of Yugoslavian revolutionary, and this is still, during World War II, so this is Yugoslavia trying to stand up probably against Nazi oppression and whatnot.
I learned about that guy Tito. I forgot what I learned, though. Too long ago.
Yep. 1 year later, the Royal Air Force drops 2,300 tons of bombs on Berlin. That can't be one day. Although, I'm not sure. Can you drop 2,000 tons of bombs in one day? That's a lot, but we were at war, So, Anyway, and I said earlier today, 1945 here, Franklin D. Roosevelt was sworn in for an unprecedented and never to be repeated 4th term as U.S. president. And as I said later on, they reduced the presidential terms to 2. So, yeah, there's that. And we also have the Hungarian Provisional Government of Bela Miklos concluded an armistice with the U.S., Britain, and the USSR, agreeing to pay reparations and to join the war against Germany. So this World War II was still raging on. It would last for another, 4 or 5 some odd months like that before Germany, did their thing, and then it was August when Japan finally surrendered. So, but this is the last part of it here, 45. 1946 here, F. Gouin followed de Gaulle as temporary leader of French government. So yeah, we all know about Charles de Gaulle. Like, he led the Free French movement and all that whatnot. Like, integral towards Operation Overlord, D-Day, and all that stuff. Like, if it wasn't for all the Free French people on French soil, like going around and knocking down telephone poles, cutting wires, blowing up train tracks, the invasion could have very well ended in a failure. So, yeah. We owe a lot to de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle was a bamf, a badass motherfucker. Anyway, 1945 as well, during the Second World War, Germany began the evacuation of 1.8 million people from East Prussia, a task which will eventually take, or which will nearly take 2 months. So this is when they're all fleeing, and I think when they're like, moving people from, a bunch of camps and such that they had over there and whatnot. Not entirely sure. But let's see here. 1946, I read that. 1947, Brigadier General Edwin K. Wright of the U.S. became Deputy Director of the CIA. Okay, that's whatever. And we have an interesting one coming up at 49 here. But 1945, the Hungarian Provisional Government concluded an armistice with the USSR, US, and Britain, agreed to pay reparation and to join the war against Germany. We just hold on a second. We just covered that. Yeah. Why do we have multiple? Like okay. Now we have 2 of these. Okay. We got this again. What happened? That was weird. 1949, J. Edgar Hoover gave Shirley Temple a tear gas fountain pen. Now, to give a little bit of example, because we all know J. Edgar Hoover was the first director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We all know about Shirley Temple, a child actress and everything. Now, here's the thing, child actors and all that stuff have always had it rough. Granted, it's like really bad today, but this is back in 1949. The first director of the FBI gave a little girl, a tear gas fountain pen. Like, it's a pen, it works as a pen, but it has like a little thing in there, like, for self-defense. Why did he do this? because Shirley
I
Temple
don't-
was getting death threats. A little girl was getting death threats because she did a movie with a black guy, Bojangles. So you want to talk about like real repression and such? Like
Oh man.
things were a lot worse back then. I'm not saying things are peaches and gravy today, but like it was so much worse back then. You're giving death threats to a little girl because she's on screen with a black guy? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know? Like, but, she was pen pals with the freaking
Well, actually,
J. Edgar
that's-
Hoover. That's pretty wild, huh? Like,
It is.
and apparently Hoover was also a cross-dresser, according to Sohan, but I'm not going to get into that because that was something that he knew. I tried to get him in the show, but he didn't reply, unfortunately, so... Anyway, moving on up, 1949 as well, U.S. President Harry Truman announced his 4-point program during his inaugural address for a full term as president, a program for economic aid to poor countries. So Harry Truman, 4 points. Harry Truman, 4 points. Let's check out his 4 points here. Let's see. For developing countries, announced, yada yada, background, yada yada yada. What are his 4 points? Okay, well, it's not telling me right off the bat here. Let's see here. The point program is... Why is it not telling me his 4 points right here? Oh, well. If anybody wants to figure this out themselves, I'm going to add this in the underbar description section. So,
Okay.
4-point program. Alright. What else do we got here? Sorry, I can't sit there and research while live on air. We got to keep going. Castro, how you doing, man? Welcome to the Rumble. Quote: the chamois of the Alps leads forth. In quote: la chamois des Alpes Spondit of Charles de Gaulle. Okay, yeah, signaling the resistance to activate. Oh,
Yes.
okay, yeah. So he's talking about when we were starting the invasion. All right. Moving on up, we got 1949. The first inaugural parade was televised for Harry Truman here, watched by 10 million people. That's a lot. Millions and millions of eyes, if you know that reference from Cat Dog. 1950, Dance Me a Song. Dance Me a Song. Opens at Royal Theater, New York City for 35 performances. I don't know why that's there, but whatever. It made me do a little jig there on camera. No. 1950 as well,
Yeah,
Suriname
just
became
singing
independent
down.
part of the realm of Netherlands. Okay.
Wait. Let me see.
What's up?
No, I said let me see what you're talking about. I was looking.
Oh, no, I'm no longer dancing on
Yeah.
camera. You missed it.
No, wait. Stop it.
Okay.
Okay.
1952 here. Noah, do you want to take any more, by chance?
Sure. I'll take a couple. In 1952, the British Army occupies Ismailia, Suez Canal zone. This is in
Ah.
the Suez Canal.
Yep.
So, isn't that where the war is happening nearby Israel?
Right now, yeah.
Nearby
Well,
around
there's
there?
been a
I
lot of
believe
stuff.
so.
At one point, Israel held the Suez Canal, but then they gave it back, thank God. So.
Why you don't like Israel having the
Well,
Suez
it's not
Canal?
like that. It's that like I don't like it when anybody goes and takes things. That I don't want to
I
get into this
think-
conversation.
I
on
think
this show
that's the
here.
reason for this war, because it will bring them a lot of money if they get the Suez Canal back.
Well, let's talk about during the Rumble section of ThEoD later today. Maybe
Probably on the
maybe
Peanut would be more
That's a
appropriate
Rumble
than the
conversation, not a YouTube. one.
Sounds like Peanut actually.
Yeah.
for Rumble,
Yeah, it
but
sounds like a Peanut thing.
Okay, yeah.
I only said ThEoD because it's a kind of a theory, kind of a conspiracy.
Okay.
It's just like
Yep.
because a lot of things from ThEoD and Peanut can bleed into each other very well. So that's why we got to be a little bit more selective and whatnot.
Okay.
I see we have
Yeah.
Bangarang in the live chat here. Actually, hold on a second. This is Miss Ghost. Can you talk in YouTube chat, please, so I can see if I can make you a moderator? Oh, well, I can't.
Okay, I'll
I
get
can't
over.
I can't do anything because I'm not signed in, so I guess not. Never mind. So the questions and I gotta sign in on Streamlabs here at some point. Anyway, moving on up. 1953, the first U.S. telecast transmitted to Canada from Buffalo, New York. Okay, so cool. The first telecast from the U.S. to Canada happened on this date, all the way back in 1953. That's pretty cool. And I think that's actually no. This is something else. Speaking of telecast and everything, while that was going on, we have the first live U.S. coast-to-coast inauguration address by Eisenhower. So coast to coast, live. Like what we're doing right now. Although we're broadcasting worldwide on multiple sources, but yeah, like 1953, the first live coast to coast. You know, that's pretty big right there. Let's see here. This is just a giant thing of word garbage. 1954, the National That Word Network was established with 40 charter member radio stations. Cool. So, you know, radio for a word that I'm not going to say. But yeah. 1954, we have negative 70 degrees Fahrenheit, or negative 57 degrees Celsius at Rogers Pass in Montana, U.S. 48 state record. So the lower 48, it's a record for them. Alaska obviously will beat that. Probably not Hawaii, but definitely Alaska. 1956, Buddy Holly recorded Blue Days Black Night in Nashville. Okay. 57, Gomulka won Poland's parliamentary election. I don't even know why that's on here. I don't know why that's on here as well. Okay, this is just more stuff. This is just... Hold on. Get rid of all that. 1958, a group attempting the first surface crossing of Antarctic joined up at the South Pole. Pretty interesting.
South Pole, huh?
Yep, the South Pole. 1959, I miss Muffin. Dmitry Sostokovich's Moscow Tsarezhizhmonsky premiered in Moscow. Okay. 1960, Patrice Lamunda sentenced to 6 months in the Belgian Congo. I wonder why. Like, let's look this up here really quick. And if anybody wants to say anything, please just talk over me. Like, don't be afraid.
Am I being too quiet at this point?
Well, I mean, I encourage, you know, participation if you like.
Okay, I mean, sure.
You know?
Where are we looking at now?
Hold on a second. We have
1960. Okay, 1960.
Ahead,
no, I said that we're looking at 1960.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I have to manually do it. So, Ghost, remind me after the show to manually make Jacob a wrench here. Yeah. Let's see here. What else do we got? So Patrice Lumumba was a Congolese politician and independence leader who served as the first prime minister of the Democratic Republic of the Congo from June until September of 1960. Following the May 60 election, he was leader of the Congolese national movement from 58 until his execution. Like, hold on a second. 1960. Oh, okay. In office until 1960. What does it say? Cause of death: execution by firing squad. Yikes! So he did something that they didn't like, and they killed him. So let me add him into the underbar section here. If anybody wants to read more about him, Patrice Lumumba. Lumumba. I wish I knew the words to that song so I could just start busting out in the song. Like 1961, Yugoslav ex-vice president Milovan Djindjic fled. Okay, and that is not... Yeah, that's right here. Okay, so he fled. He was a politician and a writer, and he's probably fleeing communism. Did he die by... He died normally at the age of 83, it looks like. He continued to publish and to write and publish while in exile. He did return to Yugoslavia in the next year in '62. He was arrested and imprisoned once again and was not released until '66. So this is during that time where he fled. Anyway, 1961 here, it says here, Democrat John F. Kennedy, the youngest elected president of the United States, was administered his oath of office at his inauguration by Supreme Court Chief Justice Earl Warren. Robert Frost recited gift outright. But it says here, JFK was not the youngest. I have a link here, so let's open that up here really quick. Age of presidents by age. Hold on a second. Age at the start of presidency. Why is it not 42 years, 78, 57, 42. Theodore Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy. So Theodore Roosevelt was younger than JFK. So like we all know JFK is the youngest president, but he was not. Roosevelt was, and that's Teddy. So that's interesting.
1 year younger, it looks like.
Just about.
It says 42 years, 322 days.
Yeah.
For Kennedy, it says 43 years, 236 days.
Yeah. So,
yep.
like...
Look at the wording. It's usually lost. Was it the date of inauguration or the hour?
It says dated.
Was there-
Yeah, it does. At the start of
Age at
presidency.
start
That's
of
how old they were.
presidency.
That's how old they were
Yeah,
when they
it says
began
here, age at
being
start of
presidents.
presidency.
Yes.
But inauguration, is that the start of the presidency?
I would assume so.
I'm getting
yes,
caught
when
up
you're
in
It
inaugurated,
is.
that's
It's when
the
you're
guy.
inaugurated, you become the president. That's after you're elected. So yeah. But the point is, one of them is said.
Go back. Youngest
Yeah, go back.
elected means in November, isn't it? Doesn't it?
November,
So
the
that's a
first
date.
one. I think it's the
Maybe.
first Tuesday, right, or the first Monday.
Well, Ghost has a point there. JFK could have been the youngest elect. Well,
No, because it says
Gotta
that
go
he's
back.
older than him. There.
Go back to the exact date they're referencing, because as you know, when it's like carefully written, it's going to reference something vaguely and it means something else.
well, I'm just.
Yeah,
going by
election day
this.
is always the first Tuesday of November.
Well, it says here, age at the start of presidency. Theodore Roosevelt was 42 years old. John F. Kennedy was 43, and that's the start. Now, maybe the election thing, because elections were like, John F. Kennedy, did appear after we changed things around. So maybe he could have been the youngest elected. And hold on a second. Sorry, I'm sneezing. So, go ahead and talk. I'll be right back.
I know it's a silly detail, but it's always caught up in the silly wording sometimes. Did you talk about this being National Penguin Day? Penguin Awareness Day?
Penguin Awareness Day?
Penguin Awareness Day.
Let me look that up.
That's today.
Here.
Every day is a day for something. It's weird. It's just giving me
Because
Penguin.
they made up days for, things to be things. They're not. There's only 11 national federal holidays in the United States every year. 11. Like if there's one more, there'd be one for each month.
Anyway, let's continue on here. 1964.
Yes.
Capitol Records
Wait, why?
released "Meet the Beatles" album by the Beatles in the U.S. Where is Creek album?
Oh wow.
You know?
Where?
know.
Are you talking about the place or the person?
No, the person.
Okay.
The guy,
I
Creek
know,
Alley,
I'm just-
a resident Beatles aficionado. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. That's why.
He's the
didn't
one who
realize
educated
that.
me about this year. And by the way, anybody who doesn't know, this is going to sound wild. The Beatles released their last song this year. It wasn't anything new. It was stuff from, it was recording from an old time, but they were able to
Never
split...
saw the light of day until now.
What?
It never saw the light of day until now.
Well, no, it's because like they couldn't split John Lennon or whoever was singing. They couldn't split his voice from the his vocals from the background music until recent technology, and then because like he was too low. But if you try to turn him up, you turn up the background, everything else. By splitting his voice from everything else, now they can turn him up individually. And now in the year 2023, the final Beatles song has been released. Like, what a time, right? Like, what a year.
I just put something in the edge disclosure in case you're interested later on. You'll see it later.
Yeah, I'll check it out later on. Anyway,
I wanted to let you know first, though. That's all.
Yep. 1965 here. The Byrds recorded Mr. Tambourine Man. Oh, okay.
I know that song. That's a good song.
Huh. And while that was
It's
going
not
on
that
there,
bad.
US
I like it. It's old.
Yeah. While that was happening, the U.S. Jet Propulsion Laboratory proposed modified Apollo flight to fly around Mars and return. So they were thinking about using Apollo, like the Saturn V and all that stuff. We've gotten to the moon. Well, we will get to the moon by 65 or 70, depending on what you believe. If you even believe we got to the moon at all. Like, there's so many theories out there. I have plenty of them myself.
What, that the moon doesn't exist, or it's fabricated, or like it's a Dyson
that's
sphere,
a whole
or
nother bag of
mega
rumors.
structure?
I'm talking about whether or not we even landed on the moon. The moon exists.
Oh, that. Yeah, I was talking about like it being like a mega structure kind of thing.
Okay, well that's another thing. So
yeah, that's something else. That's conspiracy territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they're talking about modifying the Saturn V to be, after we're done with the moon, we go to Mars. And now we're right back to where we were back then with Artemis, but we're finally doing it again. So the U.S. with NASA, using Artemis, talking about going to the moon, and Elon Musk is looking at Mars. So now we're doing two things at once. So that's pretty cool. Moving on up to 1976 here, the Philadelphia 76ers, or 1967 here, whoops, The Philadelphia 76ers center Wilt Chamberlain made all 15 of his field goal attempts in a 119-108 win over the LA Lakers. NBA record for consecutive shots made. Defeated Mark twice before 1966-67 season ends. Wow. It's pretty interesting.
Okay.
Well, Jacob Castro said on Rumble he does not want to be wrenched. It says here, don't mod me, so let's not force anything upon him.
Right here, right now.
Yeah.
Darn it, it's my goal to get him moderated everywhere.
Well, don't worry about it.
That was that. I don't.
You know, we'll get mods when we need them. You know, if things start getting a little out of hand, like, you know, we'll start, you know, like, I don't want to be reactive. I do want to be proactive. Don't get me wrong. But we don't really have a lot of flack heading our way as of now, so we don't really need to worry too much about mods. But we do need to do some work.
Good point.
Just a little bit, at least.
Yes.
So, anyway, moving on up, 1968 U.S. Female Figure Skating Championship was won by Peggy Fleming. And a tie in here, the U.S. Male Figure Skating Championship was won by Tim Wood. I don't really care about figure skating at all, so I just take that out. If anybody wants that back in, I'll put that back in next year. 1968 here, the Houston Cougars defeated the UCLA Bruins 71-69 to win basketball's game of the century and ended UCLA's 47-game winning streak. Ouch. That's pretty painful right there. 47 games going on 48. Nope, denied. 1968, Arthur Penn's film Bonnie and Clyde premiered in Paris, France, with stars Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway in attendance. Okay, so cool. So they watched their own movie. All right. And then 1969 here, Richard M. Nixon. I am not a crook. Was inaugurated
Wait, say that again.
Sorry,
Say that again.
Say
that again. Nixon. Oh my God.
That hurts my head to do.
Yeah, you sound like you're brushing your teeth or something, or gargling or something like that.
We will stay out of Cambodia. we gotta invade Laos. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's whatever article right there. 1970 here, Superflight Computer Mock Championship, or Superfight, a computer mock championship between Muhammad Ali, I believe, and Marciano. Marciano won. So utilizing AI. Essentially, to pit fighters against each other to see how they would do based off of statistics rather than actual physical performance. So that's pretty interesting right there. Using AI, what year was that?
I don't know.
70 here. Huh. But we have a 69 here, actually. I skipped over it. Whoops. The university, actually, why don't you take this one, Mr. Noah, because this is up your alley here.
Okay, and then after me, I guess it can be Ghostery's turn, because she hasn't gone yet. If she wants, yeah. In 1969, does that say University of Arizona? What does that say? Oh no, it's about never mind. In 1969, U of AZ, I guess, reports the first optical idea of pulsar in the Crab Nebula, which is a Messier object. I can't remember which one, but it's a Messier object.
But what is a Messier object?
There's an astronomer named Messier that observed a lot of nebulas and galaxies and things and called them Messier objects. There's about 106 of them, I think.
Is that
maybe.
Charles Messier?
Yes.
Let me look him up here. Messier.
I believe his name is Charles.
Messier.
How many yeah.
Here we go.
So there's 110 of them. I was very close.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at them since I was a kid on any programs like Starry Night or Google at the time. There wasn't really a way to search them on Google at the time though. Like there wasn't, or I didn't do it at least. But I used to have all of them memorized. I knew which ones were which and what number they were. I knew all of them when I was like a 5-year-old.
Oh, nice. It says here, the Messier objects are a set of 110 astronomical objects cataloged by the French astronomer Charles Messier. It is catalogued
Yes.
Nebulous's.
He's French. He's French.
Well, yeah, it says French right there, bro.
Well, yeah, his name also. My dad told me it was a French name when I was very young.
What does this say right here?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
French.
Yes.
Go figure. Of course.
Because Messier
Sorry,
was
my
interested
mistake.
only in finding comets, he created a list of those non-common objects that frustrated his hunt for them. This list, which Messier created in collaboration with his assistant Pierre McShane, is now known as the Messier Catalog. The Messier catalog is one of the most famous lists of astronomical objects, and many objects on the list are still referenced by their Messier numbers. The catalog includes most of the astronomical deep sky objects that can be easily observed from Earth's northern hemisphere. Many Messier objects are popular targets for amateur astronomers. So, further
That
reading
word
on-
is. You were trying to ask stars in French. It's amas d'étoiles. Because I can barely see the screen. That
Yeah.
means go up to the word you want to pronounce. That's
that one?
étoile is star. And
Okay.
that's, what does it say? Amas d'étoiles? Je ne sais pas. So that answers that question.
The only French I know is the French that my dad drilled into my head when I was like either in Latin Lassie or I forgot the other preschool, the other like because
It's not in English.
whatever. But like the only French I know is from my dad, fermer la bouche, which means shut the mouth. He said that to me all the time.
It's like saying someone's like telling someone to shut up, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he was telling
Correct.
me.
I lived over there, overseas, for a time. So I got
It's the
fluent
first
in
half of the series.
whatever French.
Yes.
Well, you need to tell that to Alice because we like to make fun of the Jacquois, and we'll bring you up to speed with that. That's there's a whole story behind that, but that's our code word for the French people. Oh, those Jacquois, you know. And it's funny, like, it didn't even stem from French stuff. We just thought it was French because it was weird. Anyway, let's see here. 1971, Tamala Records released Marvin Gaye's single "What's Going On" about police brutality from the album of the same name. I said, anybody see that music video? Like, hey, yeah, you know what I'm talking about? This one. Have you seen this one yet? Hello? Somebody
Nope,
talk.
not yet.
Hello?
Go ahead,
Okay,
play.
well, let me see. Oh, wait, is that the old He-Man?
Yes, but have you seen that hey, yeah video?
Yeah, I have. Go ahead and play it anyway.
Well, I'm not going to play it, you know, because it's...
Well, I mean, I like the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe version of He-Man, but not the remake of that one. I don't know. I haven't seen that one
Well,
yet,
this is
so I
not a
can't really
remake,
tell you.
This is just a YouTube...
I know that's the original cartoon. That's the original, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, but this is about police brutality, and which is a serious
Yeah?
subject. But yeah. Let's see here. Moving on up to 1972. Actually, hold on a second. Yeah, that's this guy. So Marvin Gaye. So yeah, that was this guy. 1972. 6 oil exporting companies concluded meetings with Western oil companies, and an agreement was reached to raise the price of crude. So yeah, there's all that. While that was happening, the number of people out of work and claiming unemployment benefit in the UK rose to over 1 million. 1 million
That's right.
unemployed people taking advantage of programs and whatnot back in 1972. This is all this welfare crap and government assisted, you know, this and that, and it's been going on for quite a while. And yeah.
Isn't that a tax that they pay into? So it's not technically welfare? Or is it?
Please repeat the question.
I know in the States it's you're taxed
Ever
and
seen
that
Karen Logan?
goes into unemployment. Insurance is not the same thing overseas?
I don't know. Like, I know our tax dollars go into government programs because all the government's money is all from the citizens. That's why the government has unlimited money. They can just rob from the citizens, you know? Like, I'm very close to getting on a tangent about the Federal Reserve, so I'm going to move on up here. 1972, Pakistan launched its nuclear weapons program a few weeks after its defeat in the Bangladesh Liberation War, as well as the Indo-Pakistani War of 1971. And let's not forget, you know, like Iran's trying to do with their own nuclear thing, but Israel is a nuclear capable country and has an undisclosed amount of nuclear weapons. Do not forget that. Do not think otherwise, because that is true. You know, because why wouldn't they? So, especially with Iran and all that stuff happening, and Pakistan. You know, well, Pakistan is more of a problem for India, but still. 73 here, a car bomb exploded in Sackville Place, Dublin, Republic of Ireland, killing 1 person and injuring 17. No organization claimed responsibility. This is, of course, during the Troubles.
They're mixing things together.
During the whole Ireland thing. I'm looking to see if we have any more, trying to stay on top of the chats here. 1973, Emil Cabral, leader of the independence movement in Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde, was assassinated in Conakry, Guinea. Yikes. And we all know, like, Guinea-Bissau, there is some stuff happening over there. We also have in 73, Richard Nixon. This guy again. I am not a crook. Richard Nixon's second
I love it when you do that
inauguration as
impression.
president
You're
of the
very
United
good at
States.
voice impressions.
Thank you. Richard Nixon's
You're
second
welcome.
inauguration as president of the United States took place in Washington, D.C. Yeah, no, I've been talking with MTM. He's been, he's into voice acting and all that stuff. He's in the voice acting communities.
No, that was
And,
the
like,
English.
I've seriously considered getting into that, and I've actually, like, I have been talking with people, because I do actually want to learn how to sing a little bit. Like, I know I can do well, I just need to train my voice. So, like, I just gotta start doing that. Like, maybe talk to Jace and Creek and Gray and whatnot, because all of these people are musicians, and, you know, and some of them do vocals and all that stuff. Maybe I'll talk to Carrera too. We'll see. We have a decent amount of musically inclined people in Omni Coalition here. It's pretty cool.
It might be, but I never really practiced instruments. But I might have a hidden talent for it, because one time I played the piano, and I played also my sister's friend. He had like a tuba or something like that, and I'm actually very good with wind instruments to producing sound. My diaphragm is very strong.
You might be
Pianos.
a savant of some sort. Like, if there's something
It's
you
called
wanna
a
do,
virtuoso, I believe, when it has to do with music. But I don't know. I don't know. I've never really practiced it like at all. I just had very good diaphragm when I played a wind instrument. I was actually able to produce deep sounds, which
Well,
you're supposed to
go
make them
for
deep,
it. Give
not
it a
high
shot.
pitch.
If it's something you'd
I've
like
never
to
played
try,
one for
do
real.
it. What's stopping you? You know?
I don't know. The reason I don't have an instrument, I guess.
Well, I mean, like, you know, you can practice somewhere. There's things you can
Yeah.
do. Like, you know, can you, like, buy used instruments? Although that sounds kind of gross.
Yeah, it does, because
at
you're
least
putting your mouth
read
on
it.
someone else's reed.
Well, no, you get your own reed. You know, you
Yeah.
don't buy your own reed, but, like, you gotta, like, clean out, you know, just in case. But that's only wind instruments and stuff. Like, you know, you can get a used violin or guitar or piano, like, you know, whatever. But let's talk more about that off camera here, like, because I would like you to follow your dreams. Like, if you
That's
have a
not
hidden
something
talent,
that's
I
my
want you
dream,
explore
though,
it.
to be honest. That's not my dream. But I can see why you'd say that.
Yeah.
It's just not my dream to be a musician. It's more like to be able to work at Roni's companies. One of them, probably.
Release companies?
Roni, the billionaire that I know.
Oh yeah.
He has several different organizations he's formed.
Well, not
companies.
necessarily following your dreams per se, but like if it's something you're interested in, like, you know, go for it. Like, you know, like if you're decent at it, do it. Why not? So.
Yes.
Anyway, 1974 here, China gained control over all the Parcel Islands after a military engagement between the naval forces of China and South Vietnam. Here we go, China doing China things. Oh yeah. And these two articles are whatever. This is whatever. Who cares about that? Just random sports stuff. 1977, George Herbert Walker Bush ended his term as 11th director of CIA, replaced by E. Henry Noche as acting director. And later he became president. Little interesting that, you know, all these people of, like, you know, high political, you know, places go from one area to another. A little strange how a lot of people in the moving and shaking part of the FDA are all former Monsanto people. You know, little fishy there. So.
Yeah.
Let's see here. 1978, Columbia Pictures paid $9.5 million for movie rights to Annie. Yep. And that was Shirley Temple, right? The Little Orphan Annie, if I'm correct. Somebody acknowledge this, please. Ghost, would you know about this? Since you're like
I
over
don't
1,000
know.
years old, you know, right?
Over
no
1,000.
Yeah, but was that Shirley Temple and Little Orphan Annie?
I don't know. Google knows though.
Let's use a Kosia.
All right.
Who was Little
Much smarter than me.
Orphan Annie? Little Orphan Annie.
Oh, it's this one.
Create by Hero
There it
Games,
is.
the game the strip. Okay, who played Little Orphan Annie?
Yes, that's the one.
I think it was Shirley Temple. Little story, Little Orphan Annie, blah 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 blah. Okay, the movie starred Broadway cinematic acting. It was Eileen Quinn as Annie who stole the spotlight. So it wasn't Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple was something else. So anyway, 1979, we have 1 million Iranians marched in Tehran in a show of support for the exiled Ayatollah Khomeini, fundamentalist Muslim leader.
That's Ayatollah Khomeini.
Thank you.
Just so you know.
Okay. Ayatollah Khomeini, however you pronounce his last name. Whatever it was she said, that's it. Let's see here. 1980, President Jimmy Carter, the peanut farmer, announced U.S. boycott of Olympics in Moscow. Yes, this is during the Cold War. So, of course, you know, we won't go there and represent ourselves, you know, as long as it's, you know, we're enemies, you know? Like, why would we go on enemy soil? You know? Like, yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is more figure stating crap. I don't care. Yeah, this is more random crap. I don't care. Okay, that's more stuff. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going out, just deleting random stuff that's not really that interesting. Okay, moving on up here to 1981. Ronald Reagan was inaugurated as the 40th President of the United States. And a tie-in here, 1981, 20 minutes after previous article, the 52 U.S. diplomats and citizens held hostage at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran were released and began their journey home after 444 days. So, yeah, this happened 20 minutes after his inauguration, the diplomats and everything. So he worked fast. He got it done. Like, that's quick. Wow. So... 1982 here, 7 miners, and I'm talking about, like, you know, digging, looking for gold miners, you know, not like, you know,
oh,
children
yeah,
miners.
I know what you mean.
7 miners were killed in an explosion in Cranor, Kentucky. That's not good. So while that was going on, Honduras Constitution went into effect. That's pretty cool. And we also have Piet Dankart was elected chairman of European Parliament. Okay, whatever. Like, we don't have to follow every last thing about that stuff. We have an Alice article here. 1982, future Hockey Hall of Fame center Daryl Sittler was traded by the Toronto Maple Leafs to the Philadelphia Flyers in exchange for Rich Costello, a second-round draft pick, and future considerations. Okay, so it's just some Alice articles there. We also have heavy music. Oh, here we go. Somebody else want to take this? This is a pretty big one. Ghost, I kind of want you to read this really badly just because you haven't read anything, and this is a pretty cool article.
Good point.
Right,
From what I can see, since 1982, Ozzy Osbourne allegedly bites the head off a bat on stage in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yep.
That's an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, well, like, as the story goes, he had it planned, and it was supposed to be a fake bat. But somewhere along the lines, the wire got crossed and they got him a real bat. He didn't know. He just,
interesting.
Like, did what they planned. He bit off the head of a real bat. Like, you know? So...
I didn't even know about this story, to be honest.
That's like, you know, as the legend goes. Hey, we have Cool Frog in the housey house. Reagan was only a dictator for one day. Huh. What do you mean by that?
A dictator? What?
What do you mean by that, Mr. Frog?
Is someone on your live stream chat?
Yes, it's in Rumble chat here.
Okay.
He said Reagan was only a dictator for one day. I wonder what he means by that. Anyway, moving on up, what do we got here? 1983, American gangster Roy DeMeo was found murdered in his car trunk after disappearing a few days earlier. So, wow, they stuffed him in his own trunk. That's not cool. Let me move this down here so I can see activity. Let's see here. We have 1986, the first federal holiday honoring Martin Luther King Jr. in U.S. Was observed. Cool. Cool. You know what? Let's have a cheer.
Yes.
We also have 1986, the Channel Tunnel was announced, the railroad tunnel under the English Channel, linking France to Britain through the Calais. You know, or from Calais, to and from Calais. Calais being on the French side. The Pas-de-Calais, whatever, Calais. Anyway, 86 as well. Military coup in Lesotho under Major General Lekehana and Premier Lieva Jonathan. Okay? Military coups are never a good thing. Then we have 365 days later, we have the Anglican Church envoy Terry Waite was taken hostage in Beirut, Lebanon by Islamic militia group. Yikes. Oh.
Yep.
And we have Rhino Records. First, number 1, Billy Vera and Beaters at this moment. Okay. And, okay, this is awards. I don't care about awards. 1987, bank robber Robert A. Litchfield was arrested at Lake Tahoe. So, okay. We also have in 87, UK police cracked down on soccer hooligans in biggest operation against violence around football stadiums. And you know what? There is a scene, you know, I probably can't even play the scene, honestly. But from Eurotrip, soccer hooligans. There's a really funny scene in there. Here we go. So I'm not going to play it, but I will add it to the underbar for you to play it on your own side. After this show, of course. So Euro Trip Soccer Hooligans. It is a really funny scene. It's a good movie too. I like Euro Trip. It's a great movie. What else do we got here? 1988. Andrea Hoffman skated world record 1,500 meters in 1 minute 52.06 seconds. You know, obviously that's probably been broken by then. We also have the Arizona Committee opened hearings on impeachment of Government Evan McCam. That name's kind of vaguely familiar. But let's see if Frog has not replied to me yet about what he meant by Reagan being a dictator. Anyway, 1988 as well, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees: the Beach Boys, the Beatles, the Drifters, Bob Dylan, the Supremes, Woody Guthrie, Leadbelly, Les Paul, and Barry Gordy Jr. All right, congratulations to all
right
of you.
back. Gotta go.
All right. We also have in 1989, Wayne Holsworth took a wicket first ball in his first test cricket. That's more cricket stuff, and that's nothing of really note, so goodbye. 1989, Reagan became the first president elected in a 0 year since 1840 to leave office alive. Wow. That's an interesting thing right there. Well, let me read that again. Ronald Reagan became the first U.S. president elected in a 0 year since 1840 to leave the office alive. Holy crap. So he was elected in 1980, it sounds like. That's pretty incredible. What do you have to say about that, Ghost? That's pretty cool, you know?
Pretty cool, because didn't he have an attempt against his life? I don't want to say the word because of YouTube.
Huh.
Didn't some dude try to yeet him permanently?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if there were, like, yeah, that's right. Like, didn't he get shot out here in California? Or something? Somebody tried to kill him. Like, hold on a second. Which...
Hinckley, I think is the name. Or is that a different president? Like John Hinckley?
I believe that was
I don't
the
know.
shooter. Well, that's Kennedy. Which president got shot in California? Kennedy got shot in Texas. I don't know. Probably McKinley. Yeah, you just said McKinley, but that's way too long ago. Garfield got killed.
Reagan, just go ahead and Google Reagan got shot where? Where the heck was Reagan?
Reagan got shot where? Attempted assassination of Ronald Reagan. Oh, it was Washington, D.C. Okay. Never mind. I know somebody got shot or stabbed or something happened out here in California, so I don't remember who. So.
Is that
anyway.
Robert F. Kennedy? Probably bad guess. I'm thinking it's
Was
the
it
other Kennedy.
Was it Kennedy? Because Kennedy had a mind-blowing experience in Texas. I know
Robert. RFK? Robert the brother, maybe?
Oh, hold on a second. Where did RFK get shot? I think you might be right there. Yeah, right there. There it is. Okay, you got it. Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, California, and pronounced dead the following day. That's Robert Kennedy. That's right. Yeah, he got killed. Wow. And he was running for office, right?
I think that he was going to, was he the Attorney General at the time or something?
Yeah, I think he was doing something. So, a leading candidate in the 1968 Democratic Party presidential primaries, right there. Yep, there we go. So, wow.
There you go.
Oh,
yep, you're right.
Yep. Well, we both kind of were right. This is why we have our banter. We figure things out. So,
I wasn't really here, so I didn't hear what it was.
Anyway, moving on up here, 1989 as well, Pittsburgh center Mario Lemieux became just the second player in NHL history to score 50 goals in less than 50 games. Number 50 and 44th game as the Penguins lost 7-3 to the Jets in Winnipeg. All right. Moving on up to 1990, we have, who cares about the Golden Globe? So we have the U.S. 64th Manned Space Mission, STS-32, and Columbia 10 returned from space, okay. Also, we have Black January, crackdown of Azerbaijani pro-independence demonstrations by Soviet army in Baku, part of the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Here we go. Oh, can you imagine? I was alive while the Soviet Union was around. Like, that's kind of wild to think. It was the last years, you know, but still, like, something that was around.
That was a while back that it ended, though.
Yeah, well, it's been 30-something years, but still, you know. It's wild.
So is that why it's not called the CCCCP anymore?
The CCCP.
No, it's not.
Yeah, like what does it stand for? What does CCCP stand for? It's the Soviet Union, officially the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. So that's the USSR. Okay, here we go. What does CCCP stand for? Maybe that's, oh, this is a video. Okay.
Oh, thank
Gosh,
you.
what happened to like straight answers?
Translation of Kryerlik USSR, equivalent to Union of Soviet Socialist Republics in English. So essentially the CCCP is USSR when translated from one language to another. So it is the same exact thing. So, what else do we got here?
Hey.
Yep. 1991, Black and Blue closed at Miskoff Theater, New York City after 829 performances. All right, sounds like they took a beating there. 91 as well, Les Mis, you know, opened at Pancake Theater, Los Angeles, California. Okay. Just a lot of, you know, I'm going to get rid of all of these performances because who cares about theater plays, really, unless it's extraordinary. We have the 1991, the 13th UCP Telethon. What does UCP stand for?
Yes.
Let's look this up here. Copy, paste, UCP. Pardon me. Just tells me about telethons. UCP telethons. United Cerebral Palsy Telethon. Okay. So we have the 13th United Cerebral Palsy Telethon happen on this time. And we also, while that was going on, U.S. Patriot missiles began shooting down Iraqi missiles. All right. While that was going on as well, Sudan's government imposed Islamic law nationwide, worsening the civil war between the country's Muslim north and Christian south. That's not good. We all know about Sudan, South Sudan, you know, all that whatnot. You know.
I wouldn't be able to tell you the details, but I know about it.
Yeah, well, neither would I. We just know about it. So, 1991 as well, AFC Championship, Rich Stadium, Orchard Park in New York. Buffalo Bills defeated Los Angeles Raiders 51-3. Ah, that is a drumming right there. Like, yeah. Yeah, Ghost, Cool Frog is saying CCP, no, like, CCP, CCCP. Yeah, but you already got it on that, Ghost, thank you. Let's see here, but like 51-3, that is a very big discrepancy right there. So, 1993, Bill Clinton, I did not have relations with that woman, of a Democrat, was inaugurated as the 42nd U.S. president. So,
oh man, I remember when he said that. Well, I was a baby, so I didn't remember, but I heard about it when I was older.
And Cool Frog is just waking up, just waking up, just waking up. So, yeah. We also have in 93, Maya Angelou was the first black U.S. citizen and woman to recite a poem at inauguration of a U.S. president on the pulse of mourning for Bill Clinton. Maya Angelou, author,
Yeah, she was a poet. Yeah.
Yeah, an author, poet, and activist. Didn't we talk about Maya Angelou just a few days ago? Actually, let's see.
We talked about it a few weeks ago, at least I remember.
Yeah.
Once or twice.
Okay, Maya Angelou. Okay, whatever. Welsh model. I'm trying to go through the months. 20. Okay, I guess not. You know, this is this date. So I guess we were talking about somebody else. But we have spoken about Maya Angelou a couple of times on this show. What else do we got here? 1997, comet Hale-Bopp crossed Mars' orbit. All right. And I don't care about Howard Stern. 97, we have the French electronic dance duo Daft Punk released their album Homework. And if anybody doesn't know about the origin of their name, when they first were trying to get established, before they really had a name for themselves, some guy who was listening, some producer or whatever listening to their music, made a comment about, it's like, oh, this sounds like some kind of Daft Punk, as in like daft as in like.
They stopped. They had to stop producing music because of what happened.
They split up, didn't they?
Yeah, I believe they either split up or maybe was it them that someone died? No, I'm thinking of the Rolling Stones drummer. Yeah, they split up.
No, Daft Punk split. Because again, they were like
the Rolling Stones drummer is the one that died.
Wait, what?
The drummer for the Rolling Stones is the one that died.
A lot of artists and musicians have died. So.
Well, they're older now, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, but anyway, but that's the origin of how they got their name. Just based off of a comment. Same thing with Led Zeppelin. Like when they were like trying to get their foot in the door, somebody made the comment about, oh, this is gonna go down like a lead balloon, So they're just like, let's name ourselves Led Zeppelin, and the rest is history. So. We also have 1998, Warner Brothers TV Network began Tuesday night programming. Okay. And 99, the China News Service announced new government restrictions on internet use aimed especially at internet cafes. Yeah, China's gonna China. So. Moving on up into the next millennium, in 2001, the president of the Philippines, Joseph Estrada, was ousted in the 4-day-long EDSA II revolution and succeeded by Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. All right.
I can't pronounce that. I'd butcher that so bad if I tried. I don't even know if we did it right just now.
I don't know, and I really don't care. Like, I try. Like, I don't intentionally butcher things. I give it my actual good shot.
Nobody does.
But, if anybody gets offended about how I pronounce things, that's a them problem. I'm at least trying, like.
Yeah.
But that's not the name of the game here. We're not here to pronounce things correctly. We're just a bunch of random people online doing things. No, we're not here to be too professional, So. And in 2001, we have George W. Bush was inaugurated as the 43rd U.S. president, with Dick Cheney becoming 46th vice president. Yep, that happened. 2002.
Is it me or does?
Sorry, what?
Go ahead. I was asking if Cheney looks evil, or is it just me?
No, I was going to say something. He looks like he's getting ready to,
Got like an evil grin, yeah.
He looks like he's getting ready to go duck hunting, if you know what I mean.
Rabbit season, duck season.
We're going duck hunting?
I don't know.
Okay, let's go duck hunting.
You didn't sound like... Was that you that said that? Your voice sounded different just then.
Yes.
Because you were like closer to your mic or something, I don't know.
I will talk directly into your ear.
Oh my god, you sound way better when your microphone is so close.
Well, that's because it's supposed to be right up in my mouth, but I do not have a boom, so I don't want to spend the whole show leaning directly into my mic. I need to stand up because of my posture.
You sound freaking different. Is that how you actually sound? You would sound so different in person. Holy shit.
I know. No, I do not.
Your voice sounds so much smoother when it's closer to the mic.
Well, that's because I'm like really talking soft and being very calm. When
I know.
Here, I gotta boast my voice a little bit so that way it hears me better, and that distorts my voice a little bit, and whatever.
I thought you were someone else for a minute there that was saying that. Holy shit, dude. Okay, next thing.
This will be normal.
Okay. Next thing, what are we talking about? Jesus Christ.
Anyway, 2002, photographs showing Al-Qaeda and Taliban suspects shackled and masked are published by the United States military.
Okay.
Oh. And we also have 2006, High School Musical debuted starring Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens, became Disney Channel's most successful TV movie. And I really loved how they made fun of it on South Park. That was a great stuff. Great episode right there. 2007, we don't care about that. So moving on to 2008, Breaking Bad. Walter, created by Vince Gilligan and starring Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, premiered on AMC. The show that started it all. Breaking Bad, and then later.
I was just gonna say Bryan Cranston was Walter.
Yep. No, Walter White. Yeah, that's right. So, You know, like a really, really phenomenal show. I have yet to really see it. I've seen a bunch of clips online and all that stuff. It's a really great show for a reason. Oh.
I've never seen it. Is that a bad thing?
I haven't seen it either. I haven't seen The Godfather. I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
I haven't seen a
Stranger
lot of those
Things.
movies either myself.
I don't watch stuff. I make stuff. You know, I don't have time to watch stuff. I'm busy making things for others to watch. You know, so. But anyway, 2009, Barack Obama, inaugurated as the 44th president of the United States of America, became the United States' first black Kenyan, president. If you want to go by that, his dad was born in Kenya at least, and he was born in Hawaii, but wasn't he born before Hawaii became a state? It was just a territory. No, Hawaii was a state in '61, but still, the whole birth certificate thing, that's still a whole thing up in the air and whatnot. I don't believe he was a U.S. citizen, but that's just me, But yeah. Anyway.
But his mother was.
What?
So his mother is a U.S. citizen, so does that make him automatically a U.S. citizen?
Not necessarily. You have to be born on this nation. You have to be born in U.S. soil to become this is how anchor babies, are a thing. People come here illegally. They have a child. Now you can't get rid of them because their kid is a U.S. citizen, and you can't split up families. So what do? That's how they do it. Yeah. So. Anyway.
Gotcha. Learn something.
Yep. 2009, Brandon assumed the office of the Vice President of the United States. So, not good. Keep doing that, I'm actually going to throw up for real. 2009, as well, a protest movement in Iceland culminated as the 2009 Icelandic financial crisis protests started. Is that even on here? No, it's not. So, off of main source, exclamation point. 2013, Noah, do you want to take any? It's been a while.
Sure, it has been a minute.
Yeah.
Let me find it. Okay. In 2013, Austria votes to maintain compulsory military service in a referendum. What is that again? A referendum?
Compulsory. Well, a referendum is a government thing or something, but actually, let's look it up. The actual name of that, or definition of referendum. To answer that question, a referendum is a direct vote by the electorate on a proposal, law, or political issue. This is in contrast to an issue being voted on by a representative. This may result in the adaptation of a new policy or specific law, or the referendum may be only advisory. In some countries, it is synonymous with and also known as plebiscite, votation, popular consultation, ballot question, ballot measure, or proposition. So, for further information on referendum, referendum, please refer to the other part of the description below. This link will be out there, post live stream. But yeah, no, compulsory military service means volunteer. So, the door is open if you want to serve in the military. They are recruiting. It's not mandatory and there is no draft. So that's what that is. Compulsory, I believe. Anyway, let's see here. Get rid of that. 2014, Noah, you have two more if you'd like to take them.
In 2014, credit cards of at least 20 million South Koreans were hacked.
Oh!
Does anyone know who did it? Was it North Korea?
Probably, but
Probably, yeah.
You know what? Let's just do a surface level scratch of this article here really quick. So let's see. Credit card details of 20 million South Koreans stolen. Unprotected data. So there's this. User report suggests that the contractor get hold of the giant trove of data. Yada yada yada. I don't know. This is going to require a read that we don't have time on the show, so I'm just going to add this. I know it's from the BBC, but South Korean credit stolen. Let me just add that in there, right there. So if anybody wants to learn more, tell us about this in the comments section. Bring others up to speed. That'd be fantastic. Anyway, 2017, you have a third one here, Mr. Noah, if you would like to take that.
That'll be my last for now.
All right.
2017, Donald Trump is inaugurated the 45th President of the United States and Mike Pence as the 48th Vice President. So the year that he was inaugurated, Trump.
You know what? I'm not doing this because I'm just going to say this. I do not support
Mm.
Donald Trump, but I do not support Hillary Clinton. But on that article, I'm going to do this.
Hmm. Why? Because of Biden, Pence?
No,
Kidding.
no, no,
Kidding.
no.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Just because of what he did and everything, like
Oh.
the Abraham
yeah,
Accords.
okay.
He was actually bringing peace to the Middle East. That was unprecedented. Like
Yeah.
this guy was doing stuff. I still believe he's a puppet, and everything he did is all just to get people on his side. And what better way to control people who oppose you than to control those that they flock to? But that's a whole conversation for the Rumble side of the peanut, or peanut and ThEoD, I guess. More of a ThEoD thing, but whatever. Anyway, moving on up, we also have 2017. A car plowed into pedestrians in centre Melbourne in Australia, killing 6 and injuring an additional 27. Yikes! That's not good. I wonder if it was an old person trying to get to a farmer's market, or to a country kitchen buffet, as they did in South Park. Oh God. Okay, hopefully I don't throw up on camera here. Joe Biden, who was inaugurated as the 46th president, I love how I put that in quotes here, of the United States of America, and Kamala Harris as the 49th vice president, the first female, black, or South Asian vice president. Who cares? Whoop-de-doo. The affirmative action hire bullshit. Amanda Gorman recited The Hill We Climb. Yeah, sure you climbed it. Yeah, of course. 2021 as well. Biden signed 15 executive orders on his first day. Holy crap. On his first day in office to rejoin the World Health Organization, the Paris Climate Agreement, revoking the Keystone XL pipeline, and mandating masks on federal properties. Let's not forget, everything Trump did, he removed, except for one thing, the Space Force. That's an eyebrow raiser right there. Why did he not, he took away everything else except the Space Force. Why?
I don't know.
Why? So...
Nobody knows.
And at this point last but not least, Ghost, why don't you take this one? Just because. It's the last article of the day, and I want to hear your voice one more time.
All right, I gotta enlarge it. 2022 19-year-old aviator Zara Rutherford becomes the youngest woman to fly alone around the world, landing at Courtship Airport in Belgium.
Ah, pretty cool.
Sorry, no, Belgique.
Yeah, 19 years old and she does that, dude. That's pretty remarkable. Wow. Wow. So
19-year-old anybody, doesn't matter if she's got a uterus or not. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, a unit. Huh. Well, hey, women have indoor plumbing and men have outdoor plumbing, as my mom, used to say. God rest her soul. That's a great analogy. So, let's see here. Births, we have Richard Henry Lee, 1732, a U.S. lawyer and politician, or I guess an American lawyer and politician, president of the Continental Congress. So that's pretty interesting right there. If you've seen any interesting names, let me know. Buzz Aldrin, 1930, U.S. colonel, pilot, and astronaut. He was the second man on the moon, correct? Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. And everybody forgets the third guy, poor guy. So, oh no! Anybody else see? Hold on a second. Let me move over to bursts really quick. So that way you see what's on my screen. Let me move on up to 1953, so that way you see why I'm going, oh no.
Did someone just dip? Oh, someone else was here that I didn't know was here and they left.
I saw something move.
That was
I heard
probably
something
me.
happened.
Oh, 19... Oh, wow, he's not even on here. Huh. That's weird. Hold on a second. You know what? I'm gonna do Jeffrey Epstein. I'm just gonna do some real quick. When was he born? January 20th. Yeah, so it is his birthday. That's a little weird. I left his source 5253 or 5255. It skips him. He was born on this date in 53. Good old Epstein.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's not even on the list here. And right here on the Wikipedia page, January 20th, 1953. So that is confirmed. Why is it not on this source? That name.
Because he's an asshole.
Well, because of all the politics around him.
Yes, because of all of that. It would be back to the website. also.
Hold on a second. I have a comment here from Cool Frog. The data was stolen by a computer contractor working for a company called the Korea Credit Bureau that produces credit scores. So he's referring to when we were talking about all those South Korean credit cards getting stolen or whatever. And he continues on. Kamala is India, Indian, and Jamaican. Yeah, well, she definitely Jamaican me crazy in a bad way. That's for sure. So, Bill Maher. We all know about Bill Maher too. Born on this date in 1956. So pretty interesting. Epstein and Bill Maher share a birthday, just 3 years apart. Huh. So. Michael Myers, a football player, not the yeah baby yeah guy, or the Shrek guy, different Michael Myers. What do we have for deaths here? Benjamin Chew, what a name. I wonder if he chewed people out.
He probably chewed gum.
Yeah.
He probably chewed bubblegum and kicked ass and was all out of bubblegum.
Yeah. Robert P.T. Coffin, he's definitely in one of those now, a coffin. Moving on up, it is up to you to find the articles of our history, but only if each individual reaches out with and for open mindfulness and a yearning to see outside of what you think you know, to grow and to find enlightenment. We have to find common ground with those who see their opinions differently from your own and find a better way to be better to one another. So, that'll conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar of the description below for any links you may be interested in, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. We're not just here on Rumble or on YouTube, we're also on BitChute and on Odyssey. Links to those and our social medias and our affiliates and all that stuff are in the link tree down there, except for the BitChute, which for whatever reason Linktree is censoring. Anyway, for your dose of Past Events Daily, we stream almost every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 Eastern Standard Time, respectively. We have other shows. We don't just do this date in history. We also have the Omni Coalition News Show, TOCNS, Weird, Odd, and Unusual Notable Events, Weather, and Sports, every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. The Edge of Disclosure coming up at 3 p.m. today, every Saturday. What's that about? Actually, Noah, since it's your show, tell us about it.
It's about the disclosure happening currently in the United States government and about the UAP phenomenon in jest.
Yes, about UFOlogy. We also cover paranormal stuff, conspiracies.
We also cover a little bit of science and tech stuff. We're going to go over superconductivity at room temperature again today. Yeah. One of the last things we cover.
Room temperature to superconductivity. That is remarkable.
Room temperature superconductivity.
Yeah.
No, two. Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the things we're going to talk about. We're also going to cover a bit about legislation, if there is any to cover. I haven't really checked what we have written in the channel, but we're going to go over some things.
Yep. And we also have Kicking the Peanut, in which we talk about literally anything else and whatnot, and all that stuff. So, and we have, the Omni Kitchen and, Inosh and all that stuff and other various shows. We have another one, actually, just a new idea just a couple days ago that I'll talk about later on when we get some more meat on those bones. But anyway, if you're interested in watching us live, if you're on the West Coast, it's 11 and 3 all for thee. Mountain 12 and 4, watch us for more. Central 1 and 5 for the Contrive. East 2 and 6 for your fix. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and who am I joined by today?
This would be Noah.
And Ghostery.
Yep. And of course, you, audience, are you. And let me rattle off some names here. Let's see. We got Jacob Castro, Ghost, Cool Frog, in the appears to be the 3 people, unless I'm missing anybody. Sorry if I miss anybody. In Rumble chat and in YouTube chat, we have Triple T talking trash and truths, Anya Myers, Bangerang, and Ghost is in there as well. So, and anybody else, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Until you catch us again, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! My other monitor is frozen, so I gotta drag this over here.